Hey, great day to you all. I hope that you've all been able to wake up super grateful to be alive again another day in this experience. And I hope you've set that high vibe by telling yourself that you're grateful to be alive, number one. That you're amazing, you're capable, you're worthy, you're strong. That there are only solutions. Okay? Look, there's a lot of things that I'm going to say today, so you might want to stick around because I'm going to jump around from topic to topic today. Because I'm in my flow to give you your fix of all that you need to hear today. Okay? So, guys, I've done a lot. You know, I didn't come out yesterday and do a live. Only because, you know what? I'm letting myself be with whatever I feel is meant for that moment. Really staying in my now. Okay? So, I've mentioned over the past couple of days and over the past couple of lives, I've mentioned a lot about energy and regulating your energy. And I've talked a lot about what another person's word means. It's the exact equivalent to their state of being. Well, I'd like you to understand a different magnitude of people today. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we all have life experiences, right, that are unique to us. And we all feel emotions in different ways. And we all live different experiences. And we all live different circumstances and situations. All right? Now, I understand more than ever right now that a lot of people sit and in self-reflection replay situations and circumstances to themselves over and over and over again, trying to find solutions or trying to find the meaning of why it happened. Well, I'd like to tell you today you're looking at it wrong. Okay? And a lot of people are sitting in regret about things that have happened or things they've had to live. And you shouldn't be. You shouldn't regret any life situation or experience that you've had to live. As long as you've taken the learning out of it. Did you learn something from that situation? If you can say yes to that, well, then you can also remove the emotions attached to it. Because why is this so important and relevant, and why am I bringing it up, is because a lot of people replay things back to them on a continuous basis that stunts their growth. It stunts their growth as an individual. It stunts their emotional growth. It stunts their well-being. It doesn't assist them. So, we have the capacity of hindsight and self-reflection for a reason. And that is to seek learning and truth of all of it. Now, the only way that you seek learning out of any situation is when you have actually ceased the emotional reaction to it. So, why is this so important? Because there are factually some people that are grown today that are still stuck in a childlike state, but not in a good way. And I'm going to talk about it today. Now, when somebody's traumatized from a young age, well, there's a disconnect that happens. And it really stunts an individual's capacity to thrive and to grow and to understand and learn about themselves. Because they stay in a state of self-sabotage, affected by the outcome or the results of whatever traumas that they've lived. And in hindsight, they keep replaying it over and over and over again to themselves. So what do I mean? Well, this is why there are individuals that are it doesn't matter the sex, men or women, that a lot of people would assume at their age they have that emotional intelligence or awareness or capacity of self-reflection, but they really don't. What do I mean by that? Okay, well, there are people that, you see, we look at them according to an age. So we think, okay, well, they're in their 50s, or they should have by that time reached a stage where they can see things logically or emotionally intelligently, but they really can't, because they haven't acquired the learning or the lessons that they've had to live, because they've been stuck on repeat, replaying things that are no longer relevant. So it keeps them stunted, like I just mentioned. Now, I'll give you an example. I know a couple of people that, yes, they're grown individuals, but they do not have the capacity to be emotionally intelligent. They do not have the capacity to be an active listener. They do not have the capacity to communicate with clarity and openness and truth. They can't. They are like a child in a grown body. And they're really good but these are, okay, look, the reason why I'm bringing it up to you guys today is you have to realize, like I've mentioned to you before in the lives, somebody's word to you, or where you put your reliance, you need to see the other person for who they factually are. So this intertwines with it all. You guys need to be aware that, you know, you may be looking at somebody and saying, okay, I'm going to trust this person because they're of such and such age, and I think that they're going to be of a certain magnitude. But then you get disappointed by how they act with you, how they treat you, how they whatever. But you're not seeing the person for the stage of where they're at in their life. You're not putting your reliance on these people according to who they are. You are putting your reliance in these people according to what you expect them to be. And you cannot do that. You have to literally see people for who they are and what stage of life they're at. And it doesn't matter how old they are or what life experience they've had. That's what I mean to say, because there's a lot of people who get stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage because they believe that's what they're worth. Or they just are wearing a mask to the world and not figuring themselves out. So what happens if you're in a state of self-sabotage to yourself? Well, you sabotage everything that you touch. So the state that you occupy has a lot to do with the results that you're creating in your life. Actually, there is a direct correlation. Why? Because of the laws of the universe. So no matter what energy you are putting into a situation, you're going to reap the benefits of that to the same magnitude. Well, how does that intertwine with what I'm telling you? Because if you're putting your life force into trusting something, you better be very clear about what you are trusting. Because with the allowance of trusting these grown individuals who really, really are not solid in their own skin primarily, while you're opening yourself up to receive the results to be transferred back to you of that magnitude with your life force behind it. So, why do I know this so well? Because look, I have trusted people in my life that don't have their shit together. I have trusted people in my life that couldn't even get it right with themselves. They couldn't communicate. They are disconnected from their own feelings. They are in a state of self-sabotage within their own being. So when I say I've trusted them well, I've interacted with them, I've given them chances, I've done whatever it is that I could. But my biggest learning of all of that was realizing that it doesn't matter what I am bringing to table. It is to trust what the other person's state of being and what they are doing is. I hope I'm not confusing anybody. But that's been my biggest learning lately. Is I have to, no matter what I'm feeling, I have to see and feel and know what it is I'm dealing with. No matter who it is, no matter what a title is attached to it, nothing. You see, in this, it's been difficult for me because me being who I am, I always want to bring out the best in somebody. Always. But if you're putting your efforts into a grown adult that chooses to be like a child and can't take any accountability for themselves or their actions or what they do to people, or everything's a blame game, it's never their fault, well, that's exactly what you're going to get from them. And this is what I mean. You can't expect to get more from anybody in this world than other than who they choose to be. So you got to be careful where you're putting your life force. Because anything that you're paying your life force into, you're building somebody else's dreams. Whether it's destroying them or not. Factually. And somebody mentioned to me, Tobi, you're very, energy and this and that and this and that. Do you do spells? And do you do all kinds of stuff? Well, no, and that's exactly why. Because when you think you're doing good for somebody, well, there's an equal opposite reaction to that. Yeah. So I can't just do things and play with people's energy and play with whatever, the universal force that does back us, and pump it into anything that may cause harm of any kind of magnitude. So that also includes me putting my energy and having to transfer energy with people that are in these states of beings that they choose for themselves. So this is a big cleanup to how you clean up your life. And everybody has free will. You see, and this is what people have to learn. We take it to heart when somebody is who they are. So what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people have said, Tobi, you've had some really messed up situations and whatever, and how can you not feel any way about these people and what they've done to you or whatever? You know why? Because it's got nothing to do with me. That's what you guys don't get. People are who they are. They have the free will to be who they are and make the choices that they make. Listen, I will support and walk through hell with anybody, but I will not walk through hell because of somebody. There's a huge difference. And why am I telling you guys all of this? Because I'm seeing way too many people stuck in situations that are masked as relationships. I see too many people running to work to feed other people's dreams, and they're suffering. I see way too much unloving ways, and everybody has some really messed up intentions for one another. And I see way too many grown people portraying to be grown, but they can't even figure it out for themselves. And my grown children have it more figured out than they do, factually. And these grown people acting like children, blaming everybody else but themselves. Zero self-accountability. I am tired of seeing, and if everybody could be self-accountable and loving, well, then there would not be these problems. But everybody gets stuck in this poor me, pity party, vicious cycle of, oh, boo-hoo, this happened to me, so therefore I'm like this. Well, then you are stunting yourself from your highest potential of your being. If you're somebody that's trying to get it right in your life and tap into the highest potential of your being, you can't be wasting your time and your efforts and your energy on anything else that is not of the same magnitude as of you are. And everything that you deal with, every interaction you have, is sucking your life force out of you unless it is making you spiral up. There's no in between. That comes down to your relationships, your interactions, your anything that you do in a day. It is either thriving you for growth or it is spiraling you into the ground. No matter what it is. So, how do you assist with making some right choices in your life all the time? Is you have the allowance and the loyalty to yourself to really see what it is that you are dealing with. Without any excuses, without any confusion, with crystal clear clarity. No judgment. See things from a bird's eye view. Take yourself out of your whole life situation and look at it. Where do you put your life force? Are you interacting with people that are not reciprocating what you're bringing? Because if you are, well, then guess what? You're being depleted on a daily. If you're interacting with friends that are just there because they need you, and they are not reciprocating anything back to you, then you are being depleted. Simple. If you are putting your life force into your thoughts that are not empowering you, well, then you are being depleted into destruction. Factually. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. So I see too many people with a lack of self-accountability nowadays. When they're allowing and giving permissions to everything in their life to destroy them. Whether it comes to their friends, their interactions, their work environment, but within their own beings, primarily. How does that happen? Well, to the same way you treat yourself is the same way you are going to allow somebody to treat you. Factually. The same excuses that you make for yourself, you are going to make those excuses for another. Factually. If you cannot love and accept yourself 100%, well, then you are incapable of accepting and loving another person 100%. You can't sit back and cry about why me when you've allowed it to be. You see? That's the radical responsibility and the self-accountability that I carry every day. A lot of people say to me, Toby, you don't call anybody when you're in a situation. You don't reach out for help. You don't. No, because I don't need to. I can live with the choices that I've made in my life. I don't need anybody to cushion that for me. I don't need people to, I'm not some charity case. I am walking as a strong, highly intelligent, highly in tune individual. I operate from my life force energy on a daily basis. Daily. I must. My life depends on it at this point. So, my stance in the way I keep myself is very different from another. And this is why I speak raw, real, and truthful, no matter what, because I must remain loyal to me, primarily. It's not about how another takes it. It's not about how another sees it. But also the stance that I'm at, I am not at any point in my life where I am going to allow interactions, circumstances, situations to be anything but meaningful. And that's what I mean. I learned what it is to trust people that shouldn't be trusted. I know, I've lived it. I've trusted many people that shouldn't be trusted. I've put my faith in many people that I should have never. But I had to, because it was all learning for me. So there's no should have, could have, would have, oh, if that didn't happen. Everything in your life that you have lived up until today, you were meant to live. And whether you believe it has destroyed you or crushed you, that is your own taking of it. But everything in our life has actually worked out for us. Factually. No matter how hard it's been to live. No matter what it is we're going through. When you really sit and think about it, I know personally, hey, my hard life and everything that I've lived since I took my first breath in this life has been for my ultimate benefit. Yes, it has been. Do you know that if I wasn't constructed to be the way I was even as a child, I would have never had the strength to beat death? Never. Factually. I would have never acquired the learning and the capacity to guide another. And that's one thing about me, I'll never steer somebody wrong. Never. Why? Because I tell them what needs to be said, not what they want to hear. And this is a big part of whether you're dealing with people that are really factually wise or not. It's not about being grown or not. See, and that's what I was, trying to bring up about adults being in these states that are not grown. Well, no, it's not that they're not grown because they're physically grown, but they're emotionally stunted. They're traumatically stuck in these modes of self-sabotage, lack of self-awareness, lack of consciousness, lack of growth because they don't take the time to learn. And they won't either because they stay stuck believing, well, they are who they are and fuck the world and fuck this and fuck that. Well, that's okay. Leave them there. That's my point to it all. People are allowed to be how they want to be. You just don't need to accept it for yourself. Hopefully, I'm, hoping that you guys can all do that for yourself. Stand up for who you are and what you want. Stop pleasing people. Because the people that you're pleasing half the time are not even of your capacity. Factually. Don't be scared about how you're going to be judged from people that aren't worthy of judging you. Factually, look at them. There's only one judgment to be had, and that's when you have your life review. Factually, because that's what happens when you die, You have a life review. And you actually get the chance to see and feel how you made every single person feel within your life. Yeah. And that's what actually determines whether you got to come back and do it or not, because you have free will on the planet. But really what impacts is how you've made other people feel. Because we are supposed to be of service to others from a loving, genuine standpoint. So if you've been destructive to yourself, primarily, well, then you have been destructive to others. How do I know? I used to be destructive to myself. Of course. I was never taught how to love myself or love my life. So therefore, I led a very destructive life until I could find my own love. Factually, for myself. And still, until I could start loving myself. Do you know I beat death all those times that I did without even loving myself? Not even knowing what loving myself was? You know, I hated myself all my life. I thought I was a real problem to everybody because that's how everybody treated me. From since I was a kid, that I was a problem. Factually. So I grew up believing I was a problem. And I maintained that view on myself up until my spiritual awakening at 46 years old. So I have been set free from that now for 3 years. That's why I've changed so much. And that's why I've stopped tolerating so much of my life. Because for the first time in my factual life, I knew I was not a problem. That's what changed the game for me. And my interactions with all of those who have been convincing me that I have been a fucking problem all my life. I'm not a problem. Never was. Whether I was treated as one or not. No. I was born into a bag of problems that were already existent. So of course I'd be viewed as a problem too. Because that's all that everybody was viewed as. So, you know, but if I can free myself of that, and if I can change the way I see things, and come on, the most empowering point for me ever in my life was having that spiritual awakening, because that is the first time in my entire breathing life experience that I genuinely felt loved. In the entirety of my life. Okay? And that is factual. So that is why I know the difference now between love and what it is man creates it to be, and the real love, what source creates it to be. Yo, Patrice, I love you too, bro. I love you too. I hope you're having a great day. Really. But factually, okay, so at 46 years old, I have this spiritual awakening that I've been working towards for 30 years. And that's the first time I ever fully connect to source and fully feel what love is in my life. So from that moment, I clearly knew that the interactions I had had in my life was very unloving, because it total contradiction to what fuels us for life. So from that point also, it's very easy to decipher if somebody is loving or not. You see, love for me was manipulated, and I believed it to be, love consisted of, until my spiritual awakening, seriously, I'm going to tell you this straight up. Love to me was, you had to accept to be put down, belittled, abused, thrown around, and you're supposed to forgive all of this. Like it was normal. Somebody beats your ass, like your brothers or your whatever, well, you're just supposed to forgive them and get over it. Nah, that shit is never supposed to happen. So, like me, being molested young at 4 years old, abusively. Well, how am I supposed to know that that's not normal? If I'm not taught that's not normal. Well, how am I supposed to believe that it's not normal that your parents are constantly at each other's throat? Well, isn't that what you think is going to be normal? Okay, so my view of what love looked like since my first breath was aggressiveness, assaulting each other, beating the shit out of each other, talking down to each other, harming each other. Like literally, that's what love was. So if you grow up in a household that's what love looks like, well, that's the love that you're going to accept for yourself later on in your life. And that's what happened to me. So my view of what love was growing up is the farthest thing from what love truly is. And people want to sit there and tell me that I have a problem saying that I come from a very unloving family. No, now, after my spiritual awakening, I realize that. So it's not shaming and blaming my family at all. It is factually now knowing the difference within my own self. How could I not stand up for myself in that and stand up for the love that is actually fueling us? It would make a lot of sense, don't you think? Why do I come out here and want to change the world and infuse love back into it? Because I have now realized, after 3 years of being spiritually awakened, how much love is actually lacking in this world. Now truly feeling what love is. So yes, every relationship I had throughout my whole life, I accepted the unacceptable. Why? Because of what I was conditioned to believe was acceptable. What happened? Well, the same ones that deemed it acceptable for me to live that as a child, mocked me, shamed me, blamed me, and continued to tell me I was a problem. Well, I know better now. That's why I won't accept that from these same people who did this to me all my life. I don't care what title is attached. Like I've done live saying, you cannot expect to get anything from a person that they cannot possess for themselves. So this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the live, talking about people that are appearing to be grown, but they're not. Well, what do I mean by that factually? Well, you can't go to somebody looking for love and support, and all they carry is a bag of denial, lies, mocking, shaming, blaming, guilting, and telling you you're a problem. Right? Because if you do, well, then you're setting yourself up with, again, disappointments from your own expectations. Well, there's no clarity there if you're going to look for something that's not there. And then that's facts. And how many people still continue to go and look for something in people that is not there to begin with? I want you guys to stop doing that today. I want you guys to see people for clearly who they are, their level of consciousness that they occupy. Okay? Are they really factually aware of what love really is before you accept them telling you that they love you and allow that to manipulate you? There's a big factor there, eh? Because we often get manipulated by somebody telling us that they love us, but the actions don't follow, and they are not equivalent to the words that they're saying. And why do we accept it? Well, because we're conditioned to, whether it's loving for us or not. This is where the big change comes in with me. Because ever since 3 years ago and spiritually awakened and feeling what love really is for the first time in my total existence, how could I not be an ambassador for that right now on the planet? And nothing but. Why? Because people don't have to stay stuck at their level of consciousness that they're at. People don't have to stay stuck in being overwhelmed or stressed out or feeling unloved or feeling not worth it or not valid. I know what that feels like. I lived 46 years of my life living like that. I couldn't accept myself. I hated myself. I hated the world. I hated my life experience. And I hated the fact that I had never felt loved on the planet. And how could I be so loving and yet I have to live such a brutal hell? Okay? Well, now knowing that I didn't have to live like that, how could I not be an ambassador for love on this planet? People don't have to stay stuck. And a lot of people right now are running on a repeated pattern in their mind that, guys, you don't even realize that the thoughts that you're having happen automatically, like a jack in the box, according to your subconscious brain. That subconscious brain, it's subconscious for a reason. It's out of your play capacity for a reason. It's because it governs everything. It's programmed. It's like, when you open your device, whether it's your laptop or your phone or whatever, you turn it on and apps start going on right away. Well, guess what? You have an operating system just like the hardware in your devices that runs automatically in you all the time. But what's stored in there also is all of these life experiences that you've had emotional reactions to. How do I know? Because look, when I was spiritually awakened 3 years ago, the whole horror story of my life, included with all the hatred and all of the denial, the shame, the blame, the guilt, the judgment, dissolved in a second. It no longer existed within me at all. And that's why that spiritual awakening was such life-changing for me. And why I factually know the difference now between real love and what it feels like versus the rest of it. Because that's all I have to call it, is the rest of it. I finally, for the first time in my life after being spiritually awakened, know that what conditional love is and how badly we are programmed to love by condition. But it's not only that. Unless somebody has the capacity to love and accept themselves, they can't do that for another. So this intertwines to what I was telling you guys about. Do not go looking for something in somebody that is non-existent in them. It is your lack of clarity to see another for who they are that allows that to happen. And I'll be the first one to tell you. Nothing outside of us can affect us unless we give it permission to. No matter what it is. And we all cry about the situations or circumstances or interactions once they've happened. But there is that possibility that you maintain your stability and your love for yourself, that you don't even allow it to happen. I've learned that too. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, look, everybody walks around with a unique state of being according to their unique experience, and they project uniquely what they are going to project into the world. So two people will not make you feel the same. This is why I encourage everybody to get over their past experiences that are limiting them to actually feeling the heart-filling unconditional love What do I mean? Any situation. If you've had bad interactions with family, or bad interactions with relationships, or bad interactions with work, or bad interactions with anything in your life that has scarred you to the point where you govern your choices from this, and you will, because this is all stored in your programming. So you cannot sit there and say that you are not functioning your life from your past unless you've corrected it. What do I mean by corrected it? You've corrected the effects that it's having on you. Factually. What do I mean by that? Well, look, I don't care who you are or what stage of life you're at. I need you to understand that if you do not go into your past like you do and relieve yourself of every emotional scar that you have attached to every experience, what's happening is every choice you are making and every thought you are thinking is coming from that as a self-reflective point for that programming. Yeah. And you don't think so, but it is. Why don't you think so? Because you're not allowed to play in there. It's happening subconsciously. So every thought you're having today and every choice you're making today is coming from every emotional scar that you have from any one of your experiences in your life if you have not gone in and released it. Yeah. Factually. Well, this is happening to everybody else too. So this is why I encourage you all not to go and put your trust and faith and expectations into another person unless you clearly see who they are. Because, just like you are, that person is also coming to the table with all of their emotional self-reflection points for their programming and everything that they must keep them safe from their life experience. Well, that's what they're bringing to the table unless it's corrected. Factually. And you got to be clear about that. And you know, we oftentimes, and I love people. Why? Because I love me. And that was another thing. Tobi, how can you just tell everybody you love them and it's just love, 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 love now? You know what? I've always been a loving person. Always. But ever since my spiritual awakening, and I allowed the universal love, agape, unconditional, infinite love to fuel my being correctly, well, that is the governance of my being. So that's the state that anybody gets from me. An unconditionally loving state. But this is why I limit my interactions. Because that's my free will and choice. I don't like to feel or embody a state of anything else but this loving state. This loving state has healed me. This loving state is healing my face. Hey, come on, my face was totally paralyzed. Half paralysis, completely. Eaten right through all my nerves and sinuses. They gave me 3 months to live. Told me that I would not stop this. Never mind come back like this. Well, it's this unconditionally loving state that's actually running all of our organs and everything. Well, this is our truest essence of our being. And what is really stopping you from tapping into it? It's all of these emotional scars that you're carrying inside of you as self-reflection points that your programming is going to look at to keep you safe. This unconditional love that fuels us fuels the same state. Where the contradiction lies is everything that you have stored in your life as from your life experience in your mind. Yeah. And no two people are the same. So everybody, when they do inner work, it's genuine to them. Yeah. That's why some things work for some and some things don't work for others. Well, because we all have a unique situation we're looking at. There's no two people that are alike. There's no two people that have lived the same thing. And even if you are, you're still not perceiving it the same thing. Perfect example, you're in a relationship. You're lying down with a man or a woman. Well, you are living in the experience completely different than they are. Completely. Everybody has senses. We are constantly processing data, but we are processing all of this data according to what's in the hard drive. Yeah, so you're even processing everything that you're feeling from all of these emotional scars that are still there also. Yeah, and that's half of the time why we get stuck in these repetitive patterns of bad relationships, bad interactions, things that are not empowering to us, things that are not, because we've also been programmed that it's acceptable for ourselves and for others, and to allow that from others. Well, I know I was. And life situation, and this is not to talk down on my family. You know, a lot of people have said to me, Tobi, you rip it real raw when it comes to your family. No, I speak truth. There's a difference. How everybody else takes it is not my problem. But me, I am a loving individual, and yes, I love my family, whether I speak to them or not. And if I don't speak to them, you can trust that I have a very valid and just reason not to. And it's not from any emotional scarring. Okay? There's a difference. I don't govern my choices from my past experiences or any emotional scarring. No. And even too, I was just speaking with somebody today. This gentleman was telling me, well, you must be still hurt from the guy who just hurt. Like, no, please. You know what? I see everything for learning. I see everything as experience. And my state of being is an unconditionally loving state to myself first. So why am I going to sit here hating anybody for any learning that they gave me? That's how I see it. I don't see anything as a bad situation. You know what was bad? Was living in it. So why would leaving it be bad? No, leaving it has been great for me. Because while I was in it, I didn't know that. I was in a state of destruction living that, and I would have never healed my face. Never. I was heading for death in that. I had a heart attack. Even after having a heart attack, I ended up with a dislocated knee. Come on. You think me having a heart attack stopped him from openly cheating on me? No. You think that stopped him from being destructive with me? No. After I had that heart attack, he amped up the abuse. It's like he wanted to kill me. Come on. How could leaving that be hard? No, living that was hard. Extremely hard. And fighting for my life during it was extremely hard. And you know what? The factual thing that saved me during it all was really knowing what love was, because I had been spiritually awakened before that. But that was the greatest learning that I could ever acquire. Why? Because after feeling unconditional love the way I had, I chose to extend that same love to somebody else. Yeah. I learned the repercussions of what that brought, because many are not worthy of it. See, that's the difference from their own free will and choices, because any person who wants to claim they're evil and aggressive and abuse your ass, they're not deserving of being unconditionally loved, even though they're the ones that need it most. So that learning was great for me. And trust me, not too many people can take. You know, they talk about narcissistic abuse. Well, what I just lived was over the top. It gave me a heart attack. Pushed me to the point of a near death. You don't think I learned from that? And people questioning now if I'm still hurt by it. I have sat here telling you guys that yesterday no longer exists. So, that relationship, chalked up as experienced. That's it. Nothing but. You don't think I learned from that shit? Huh. You think I'll ever accept that again? No. You think I'll ever submit soulfully, energetically like that to a man that is not of my magnitude ever again? Never. Never. So, how could that not have been one of the greatest experiences that I could have had for myself? That's how I see that relationship. And I mentioned that to somebody, and they said, Tobi, you are fucking nuts. How can you see that abuse and everything that you lived as the greatest thing that could have ever happened? Well, because now I will never, ever accept another man who is not come and correct and already trained to be the rightful man. How did this guy get away with it? Because I gave him titles that he didn't deserve in my life. Yeah. And this is what people do. We give people titles that they do not earn. And that's what happened to me. And that's okay, because I learned from it. And this is where the hurt gets removed, is when you learn. I don't care what I have to live, eh? I know that life is for learning, and I'm here to acquire as much learning as humanly possible. Spread as much knowledge as humanly possible. Make people's brain patterns be disrupted as much as humanly possible. Do you think I would have the effect that I do to shift brain patterns if I didn't come out here and be real, truthful, and raw the way I am? It doesn't matter what you have to live, but it matters what you accept for yourself. It matters whether you do the inner work to free yourself of the hurt. Yes, it matters whether you put yourself first. Yes, it matters what you allow and you give permissions to in your life. Yes, all of that matters. Don't expect people to be as loving as you are. See them for who they are. But I'm not telling you not to love them anyway. But see them for who they are. Because me, factually, I don't care who chooses to do what on the planet. And what do I even mean by that? Well, I'll tell you factually. I know people that are living in the underground that I learn from and that I love greatly. Just as much as I have people in the light, let's say, doing the proper stuff. I learn from them too, eh? I don't judge people. I don't even judge the ex. No. Why would I? I thank him. Can you believe that shit? Everything that I've had to live with that man, I thank him for. Tobi doesn't play like that. I thank him. Thank you for being who you were in my life. Thank you. Thank you. Just like I thank every situation, circumstance, and scenario, because I also realize that everything is working in my favor. Always. No matter how tough it is, no matter what I got to live, no matter what's being thrown my way. It is for my highest good. All the time. Nothing's going to cripple me into a repetitive cycle of anything. Ever. And you got to be unconditionally loving to yourself. And don't beat yourself up. And don't question why you chose what you did. Or why did... You know, somebody asked me too, how can you sit here with no regret? Because I don't regret my life. It's been quite a ride. Not too many can have the life that I've lived and be okay. And still be a loving human being. So that's the greatest success that I could possibly ask for in this world, factually, is that my heart remains loving towards everybody, no matter what. Doesn't matter what I've had to live. Bring it on. I'm the one that's ready. I'm the one that's ready. Because everything's learning. So this is why I say bring it on. People say to me too, Tobi, that sounds so aggressive. You're bring it on. No, it's all learning. And I have a passion for learning. Why? Because we change every day. And the more we know, the more we grow. That's how I see it. And I want to expand my knowledge and expand my awareness and expand my consciousness and expand my energy and my capacity to impact the others. Doesn't matter how it's served. I never come out with a script. Ever. I don't even think about what I'm going to say. Ever. Because I tell you guys factually, I don't think anymore. I don't. I don't allow myself to. It's not, I've cleaned out the subconscious mind where all of the thoughts stem from. So I lead with my heart. I stay in my heart. And there is no thinking in that first brain. It is all feeling. And do I think about the things that I feel? Sometimes. If I need clarity. So the only thinking that I need is when I'm expressing a question to my guidance and my source, going, okay, Most High, yo, give me some clarity, because this is some confusion in here, because I can't stay in my heart space. It's not telling me enough, and my head's kicking in. What's good? And then the intuitive feeling comes with all of the expression of whatever needs to be known. See, this is it. I stay in my intuition. That's not combined with thoughts. It's all feelings. So really, even saying that stuff, I don't think. No, I don't. And I don't want to. I don't. Thinking comes from a place of the past and is very not relevant to your today, factually. Thinking steals so much of your power. When you're in a state of knowing, in a state of unconditional love, there are no thoughts there. Factually. And it really doesn't matter. Things, that once meant something to you no longer do. Factually. You don't sweat the small stuff, and that's what I mean. Like, unless something is life-threatening to me, well, then it doesn't need my attention or my focus. I'm not on the go, 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 go. I'm in a state of flow. Simple. And that I intentionally set for myself on a daily basis, no matter what it is. And I encourage obstacles and setbacks and things to arise with me every single day. Why? Because it's all learning. A setback is an opportunity to learn. And that's why it happens. There's always a pullback before the projection. So when the time of pullback, that setback, is a time to rid yourself of excess things you're carrying, mentally, emotionally, physically, because that's when you're going to get the hugest projection in your life. Well, I want that growth. I take the time to learn every day. I want to become the best version of myself humanly possible that I could be on the planet. That's an ongoing process. Because the only thing that's perfect in us is what's fueling us for this experience. So yes, we do have perfection in us all. We do. And that's actually your operating system that operates that perfection. Well, how do you think all of everything runs in your body on a daily basis, plus your senses, plus your central nervous system, plus all the neural pathways, plus all the messages going back and forth, plus. Do you think that you could be a part of any of that and manage it? No. That's why you're not allowed to manage it, because you'd be dead. If you can't manage your energy and your time during a day, you think you could manage all your systems? You wouldn't have time to do anything else. That's why you're locked out of it. That's why it's programmed to govern and operate on itself. But if you tap into your highest potential of your being, which is that perfection of flow, you can have anything you want in your life. No matter what. No matter what. And what was my biggest thing that I wanted was to stay alive. So yes, I have manifested more than $1 million, $1 billion, a big beach house, a Lamborghini, apps. Fuck all that. I manifested a life. And I highly doubt there are too many that can do that if they were put in the same position I've been. So that, I'm proud of that. Guys, I love you all. Don't put your faith in people that are showing up as their state of being. Big time. See people for who they are. See people for the mask that they choose to wear. Because there's not too many that are walking around authentically them. Well, I can see through that too. So I like that leverage that it gives me. And you know what is crazy, eh? Because I have seen many portraying that that's all they're doing. They're wearing a mask. Well, I see right through it. And I chuckle. Because I want you guys all to also, anything that you learn, laugh it off. Acquire the learning and laugh it off. You see, even in that perfect situation, when you know that somebody's portraying to be somebody that they're not, you don't have to shame them. You don't have to blame them. You don't have to call them out. You don't have to do nothing. Let them be who they choose to be. They have their free will to do that. And hey, we're all unique and we all bring something. So whether it's love or not, that's their free will. Hey, what can I say? And for people that really don't know what love is, who have been in abusive households or abusive... Listen, I know what that is, eh? And I know why you're accepting it too. And you shouldn't be. You should be accepting nothing for yourself that is not fueling you for greatness and that makes you feel excited and well in your life. No matter what face or name or excuse you choose to attach to it, something is either helping you or it is hindering you. It is making you thrive or it is making you survive. Survive will produce more things to survive from. Thrive will produce more things to thrive from. You're manifesting every time you breathe. Somebody asked me the other day, actually, straight up, what is manifesting? It is creating, which you are doing with every breath. So are you consciously creating? Or are you running on a pattern of repeat that's destroying you? Because it's not about what anybody else is doing, eh? Choose to embody the state of being that is for your wellness. which produces harmony and balance and well-being and stillness and clarity. You can't look to the bottom of a pool of water, let's say, if it's ripples and shaking, and no, you can't see the bottom. Well, with still waters, you see it all. Clarity's key. But calmness is your key to clarity. You got to be calm. Well, if you're always on the go, 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 when you're running in cycles of your mind that are taking you everywhere but to the calmness of your being, it's time to let go of the go, go, go and start getting into a flow, the alignment of your highest potential of your being. That's running all your organs naturally. There's a flow to all of that. Well, if you step into the same flow, you are going to thrive in your life and not survive. It doesn't matter what you have to live. And we all have to live different things, eh? So yes, we're not all meant to have millions, not all meant to have such loving relationships. We come here to learn it all and to feel everything, A to Z. But your state of being to feel and learn from it all should be love primarily, because that's what you're fueled for, to live it all. Get back into the tune with the love of your heart. Stand up for it. It's your right. That's your birthright. And the abundance of love that you're truly given to make the magic happen. Holy shit. Let's get you tapped into that highest potential of your love. Because if you think that it's anything else fueling every one of your organs and systems, it's not. It's love that's making you breathe. It's love that's making you see. It's love that's operating all of your systems going on for this experience. And it's funny that it's called the life experience, eh? Because that's all it's for, is to gain experience. So if you're sitting in a state of destruction, well, I hope you're learning from it. And if you'd like to get out of that survival state and be okay and thrive through no matter what you got to live, I can help you with that. But you got to have the courage to do it. You know? Mastering yourself is not a walk in the park. Why isn't it not a walk in the park? Because you have to go and look through everything that everybody else has programmed you to be like. So yeah, you're going to have it's quite an eye-opening experience, but it is very much worth the discovery for the correction and the acceptance and the love infusion towards it all. I can honestly say, no matter what I've ever lived in my life, I am at the point today where I can factually love every situation, circumstance, scenario, every person involved, everything attached, with zero regret. And this is how I choose to live my everyday. I don't accumulate regrets. I accumulate learning. And nothing but. And I encourage you guys all to do the same. But factually, look, if you guys are having a difficult time, no matter what kind of area in life that you're having a difficult time with, what I want you to realize is that anything outside of you that is giving you a hard time, it is because of how you're treating yourself. Nobody else is doing anything to you. But you are creating these things in your life. So if you want better in your life and for yourself, you have to take the look at yourself within it all. Because that's where it all stems from. And when you eliminate the problems within, well, then you also eliminate the problems in your life. It's so within, so without. And as above, so below. So if you've gotten to the point where you're sick, you're burnt out, you're stressed out, your body's on repeat of factual destruction at this point, we can turn it around. I know. I've been on the edge of death, given 16 hours to live. Total organ failure. Told I'd need dialysis. Told my limbs would need to be amputated. I'm sitting here today, no problem. Last year, I was given 3 months to live. Couldn't stop the flesh eating. Total partial facial paralysis. My mouth is moving again. People, come on. If I can do it, you can too. And if you need some help to figure it out, you reach out. Because if there's anybody that can help you with it, I can. It doesn't matter what you're living. And don't be ashamed of what you're living, because, man, if you knew my life stories, holy cow. I've done it all. Literally. Yeah, this journey of my life has been quite some experience. And I sit here today with no shame, no blame, no guilt, no denial, and zero regret. And I factually love it all. Literally. But I encourage you guys to get to this point too. Because there's way too much that is hurtful going on that we even tolerate within our own beings. Like, you know, if you guys only knew how I used to treat myself. I treated myself in the same correlation and accordance to how everybody always treated me in my life. And that was so destructive for me. And that's why I say, when I stand up for myself now, I don't care what title is coming at me. I love me first. And if nobody's standing up for me, well, then there's nobody that will. So I got to stand up for me and for what I feel to be right. And that has nothing to do with anybody else. Well, I hope you all can do that for yourselves too. And not accept these situations in your life that are not making you feel good. And I'm telling you another thing too, eh? The doctor couldn't tell me that it was trauma, pain, suffering, guilt, shame, depression, anxiety that was causing the illness in me, eh? All their tests do not test for that stuff. It's very hard to get the help that you need from a system. That's another thing. Don't go looking for the support and the expertise in somebody that doesn't have it. Especially according to titles. There's a lot of great people, and if you look, I'll say it because I'm in competition with nobody. The only thing that I would love to see is for everybody to be okay, no matter what they're living. So I'll say it. If you feel that you're too scared of my approach, there's a lot of great coaches that are attached to me that you'll find in my stuff who's like, look, I could list you a whack of them right now that you can go check out. That I'm sure that if you do not resonate with me, well, maybe you'll be called to work with them. Because I highly suggest, you know what, don't leave it up into the hands of doctors or shrinks or why? Because they are running on programs that are outdated. They are not aware of the up to the times, because if they were, the medical system would be wiped out. It's all based on lies. And everybody trained to work in there is on that ledge of knowing and nothing more. So if you want real help, you want real change, you want real wellness in your life, you are very capable of attaining it. No matter what you're living, no matter what you're getting over, no matter what you're suffering from. I'm living proof of it. And I encourage everybody to stand up for themselves. Factually. Stand up for your wellness. Stand up for your true heart's desires. Stand up for the things that don't make you feel right. Nobody can love you the way that you can love yourself. So stop looking for that. Nobody can respect you the way that you can respect yourself. So stop looking for it. Nobody can trust you the way you can trust yourself. So stop looking for it. Everything that you're looking for outside of you is already inside. Well, if you need some help to tap into that truest, highest potential of your being and get an upgrade on your programming that you've been operating on, I highly suggest you book some time with me. Yeah. What do I want to see? I want you to be solid in your skin and able to love yourself no matter what. And able to get past no matter what is happening. All the time. And be okay. I want you to heal if you're sick. If you're out of whack, I want you to gain that balance and alignment. That's what I want. I don't want you to feel out of control. I don't want you to feel unloved or unsupported. I know what that feels like. So, if you're in any kind of state of suffering that you just don't want to feel, I highly encourage you guys to reach out. Because if you really want to feel change, I'm telling you, one-on-one time with me, you will feel the immediate change. Guaranteed. It won't take 3 months of working with me. It'll take you about 30 minutes with me and you will feel the change. Guaranteed. And you know something? It's funny because, hey, booking that 30-minute call with me is free, eh? It's no price tag on that. So you guys are really losing out because in about a month, I will be putting a price tag on that because all of this offering of free services and nobody taking advantage of it, I'm about to put the price tag on it. Trust that. Because I know what I'm worth. And I know what the knowledge I spit out to hear all of you guys is worth. Which I do for free. So, you guys want some real change in your life? You go to my Linktree, you go to my Calendly, and you book that 30-minute call with me, which is free, for some help. And then we'll talk about what your situation is and what you can provide to me in exchange for extended work if you need it. Simple. Okay? I'm very flexible for those who are very committed and adamant about the changes that they want in their life. But I'll tell you right now, I'm not interested in lies, bullshit. You're not getting real with yourself. You're sitting there making excuses for yourself. No, I'll set you straight there. Trust that. I want what's best for you and that, to disrupt that pattern that you're living on. I love you all. Have a great day. Set that high vibe. I will put my Linktree link again in the video, but it's on my page. All my links are public accessibility on my page. So there's no excuse where people, oh, well, I didn't know where your links are. Everything that you need for me is on my page. I love you all. Have a great day. Peace.